Hello. I just wanted to mention, sorry about the delay. Jack's being interviewed for CBS. They decided they're doing a special next Sunday on CBS in the morning, and so Jack's being interviewed, and then the film crew went around with him, so there's going to be a big show next weekend, and Gorce is going to be featured in it. So he's just finishing up his interview. Sorry for the delay. Okay. What do you want to talk about? No, but honestly, thank you guys all very much for coming out here. The turnout is great. I mean, it's really exciting to stand here and look at everybody and see the interest from everybody. And so what I could speak of for a few minutes is we had Jack went around the course this morning, and the reason why we set it up this way was so he had some time just with his staff to go through and have his aha moments or his something else moments. And we went through it all, and after I think the third or fourth hole, he told me, how pleased he is by the overall effect of everything. But what I wanted to do is, point out the grotto area here. So it's really one of the things that the House Committee's been looking at, and the reason why we wound up putting the lake in was this cart path ultimately is going to come down to the level of the grotto floor. And we're talking about different ways of removing these stairs and putting a roof out here and have some facilities that we can have drinks out here and maybe light food. So when you're playing or you're making the turn and things like that, so they're working on reprogramming. So the House Committee's been working with an architect on that. And one of the things, the procedures we put in place are that all the professionals we're hiring only do country clubs and golf courses. So we're not hiring an architect or having an architect study this that might not understand the needs of a country club. So they've been working on that. We're not planning some major idea right now. We're looking at creating an overall plan that will be able to be looked at years in the future in a staged process. But right now the grotto has been a main focus. Sorry about that. And that's what we're working on. So you guys can get a great feeling of what it would be like here if we have covered seating out here and things like that, and it wouldn't be a huge part of the structure, and we'll try to address the other dining areas. But it's all being a thought out, well-designed plan that we can bring to the membership. There's nobody planning anything that doesn't plan on coming out to the membership. There's nothing that's not transparent. It's something we've been talking about for a while, but when I was being questioned, as we've been working to try to, this setting today really is 100% because it's what the board wanted. The board didn't come out and go around the golf course with Jack. The board wanted it to be transparent, involve everybody, and that's why we're all out here today. So we all had this precious time with Jack, and that's why we're going to also try to get him out here in about a month or so, and we'll try to set up the same thing. So the idea is to include everybody, and what we're trying to do is we will come to you with the options once we get budgets in place for the different areas of renovation. But there's no secret plan on the clubhouse now or anything of the sort. We're trying to do it moderately with what people have filled out in the previous surveys. So anything else? If you have any questions, I'm happy to. By the way, I'm Barry Brodsky. Thank you for coming, and nice to see everybody. So, all right, when we see Jack come out, we'll start again. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I guess timing is perfect, right? So we had a wonderful morning out on the golf course. I was privileged enough to travel and listen to Jack, and so it was very, very productive. We are very excited. I couldn't be happier with the results of today's meeting. And Jack will explain what's happening with CBS. And again, everybody, please welcome Jack Nicklaus.
I don't know. Well, he got me with enough mics here. What, Barry, I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
Just said that you're the greatest. We had a wonderful day today. We appreciate you coming out here and that you would give us some insight into your views of the course.
Okay.
And explain 9 and what you saw out there. And
okay.
Keep everybody in the loop because we're one big team.
Well, it seems like it wasn't very long ago I was doing this, but it was 1992. That's what, 22 years ago? that we did a lot of the golf course. Now, the golf course in design standpoint, I don't think was broken, but this issue, the greens obviously needed work, irrigation. You're going to change the fairway grassing, and there was an opportunity to come in and tweak some of the stuff that we think just could be better and make the golf course more modern. And that's what we're trying to do. I'm not trying to reinvent it, but I suppose in some ways we are. The greens have gotten very flat over 20 years. You know, they didn't perk. They became very soft. I know this last year, I guess your greens were really a mess, I guess, from a playing standpoint. Is that correct? That's putting it lightly. So anyway, our job was to come down here and try to restore the golf course, try to tweak it where we thought it was necessary, and basically try to revitalize the Gorce into the course that we think it should be. So today we started. Most of the back nine is in pretty good shape. The front nine's not quite there yet, and so we didn't do a lot at 10. We sort of we tried to put the greens back pretty much where they were, we're putting just a little bit more movement back into them, more like what we thought we did 20 years ago, and then but modernize the bunker at 10. The ones you're looking at right now, I changed that this morning. I don't think it's relevant to where it is. We moved it out a little further. And round the green was pretty much the same. 11, we didn't. I took out. There's two bunkers at the end of the lake with that tree now down there at the end of the lake has grown up. You don't need the bunkers back there. Why do you want to be in a bunker with a tree in front of you? So, yeah, I agree. I don't want to be there. If you're a better player than I am if you can play it. Or I should say better player than I was, because I'm not very good anymore. But anyway, we opened that up. I think the green, we didn't really change it that much, but we made it a little bit more interesting and fun. Took out a lot of sort of rubbish on the right short of the green, where a lot of golf balls I'm sure get. 12, we didn't really change it a lot. It's pretty much the same hole. Just took out some trees on the left. We had too many trees, too many of one kind, and so forth. Next hole, didn't really do a whole lot to it. Just revitalized it and made it into a nice par 3. Next hole, we changed the green a little bit. I thought we probably got a little away from us before, so we changed it a little bit. Put the two bunkers in, made the fairway. I tried to make the fairway so it's not crowned as much as it is right now. But that's tried to pull it off of the property line a little bit on the left. The par 5, the next hole, we expanded the lake a little bit. We got a much different green than we had before. We got rid of the bunkers that were around the green and to put them in the grass so it's playable. The little fairway bunker in the middle of the fairway on the second landing area, I reduced the size of that to about half. Put a little bunker in front of the green. A couple little things that we just did to it that I think really actually will make it a really nice hole. Next hole, we fixed the front of the green and just took one bunker out that was way right, which was really didn't mean anything. I think that hole will turn out to be a little nicer. 17, we're not done with 17 yet, but we tried to make the left side of the missing the green left a little bit more user-friendly to play. Green isn't going to change much. Bunker on the right, that won't change much. 18, the bunker's still the same off the tee. We lowered the green a little bit, tried to make it a little bit more of a bailout on the right. The water's not as far from the green on the left, but it's pretty much there. We then went over, we looked at just try to go more, not in the order that we went, but we went back over to the first hole, and I sort of had an idea that I thought that the practice putting green could be a nice big practice putting green, and actually I took it right back and made the back part of that putting green the back tee. And so I sort of liked that idea. I did it at the Bears Club. It works out very well. And, you know, you have probably more good players than most golf courses. So it'll get used a little bit, but also for most of the time, it'll just be another part of your putting green, which is a nice place to practice. Your croquet court's intact. I think the first hole works out very nicely. We didn't look much at, because 2 and 3 aren't ready to look at yet. I changed the numbers around, made 4. The whole it was your 7th, I think, and took the tree out. It was down there on the left side. Some people clap, some people say no, but again, here you are in a bunker, or you're hitting it down there where we've designed an area. When we did the golf course, that was not a very big tree. 20 years of trees do grow. So I took the course out and I changed the bunkering around to make it a little bit different. I want to make the right side a little bit more a place that people might want to play, but left the left side. I actually put 2 bunkers and changed the bunkers a little bit. One at about 240 and one at about 300, and made it only about 20 yards between those bunkers and the water. And somebody who wants to take it down the left side, they can challenge that, and they'll get a shorter shot in the green. They can probably drive it through that area and get it up to a little pitch from the green, or you play it out to the right, and I open the green up from the right, so that you can play it out to the right, and you get more of an open situation. The only other green I think we looked at, and the only other situation that was done was the green right behind me. And as I understand it, we're going to try to take this area down a little bit so that you can sit in here and be able to view across the water and onto the green. I don't know how successful we're going to be on that, because I'm not going to do this part. This is going to be your part. So I'll sort of reserve judgment on that to when it happens. But that's the idea, is where you're sitting back there, you ought to be able to see. You can't see the water now, can you? But you should be able to when we're done. So you have a cocktail party out here or whatever you have, you'll be able to do that. And the only way I felt like to do that was to probably put a little sort of semi-island green or peninsula green, whatever you want to call it. And I added another bunker on the right side of the fairway today to make it sort of that if you want to challenge that, you can challenge it and drive down close to the green, or you lay back a little bit and you have a little bit of a full shot. I put a bunker in the right front of the green because I think a lot of balls, the average golfer, most people hit it short and right. And so I'd rather see that catch in a bunker than see you get in the water. And that's basically what we did. So that's what we did today, and I think it's going to turn out pretty nice. Do I have any questions? Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea. Will it change? Probably not. I can't imagine it being much difference. It's almost the same golf course. What, does that make a difference? Well, why the question then? I don't really know. I mean, somebody asked me what will the slope be, and I say I don't even know what slope is. To me, a slope is the pitch down to the water. But I don't really pay much attention to that. To me, I think that the idea. I look at the golf course here. You've got about 75 or 80 golfers that are single handicap. So your back tees probably get used a little bit more because you're not a long golf course. Get used more than most golf courses. So I got to take that into account as we do it. But I also know that if you have 75 or 80 golfers, and I don't know how many members you got, 350, so probably 300, whatever it might be. You've also got a couple hundred golfers that aren't single handicap. So you got to make sure the golfers, they can play it also. So everybody plays it.
Jack, yeah. I have a question.
Where are you?
Right here.
Yeah.
What's it like to come back to a place that you played, I don't want to say 5 or 6 decades ago? And
50 years ago, okay.
And what's it like, for you, coming back to Miami Beach where you were a young man and you were, playing here? what does it feel like to be able to redo the course for you on a personal level?
Well, I came down here. Jack Grout, of course, taught me at Scioto. Jack Grout came to Scioto in 1950, and that was my first year of playing golf. I was 10 years old. Excuse me. And Jack and I were, he became very, very close. And when I sort of left to go on tour, Jack Grout felt like he didn't want to spend any more time out in Ohio. Maybe the winters in Ohio he didn't want to spend. So he started coming south, and Gorce is where Jack came. And so when Jack came here, I just followed Jack to Gorce, and came down here and sort of spent time. And I always got a big kick out of, going to the locker room. And Shula seemed to be in the locker room every time I was in there. So I enjoyed seeing Don and seeing the other guys and see a lot of the people, a lot of guys that were good players that I played amateur golf with and back before that. But I always thought Gorce was a nice golf course. I enjoyed playing it. It was fun. Well, I didn't play that much here, but I played a little bit. And then when you went to redo the golf course 30 years later, I don't even know how it was initiated, but it was initiated back to me. And we did it. I enjoyed it. I hadn't been back for a long time. And I thought your golf course was a better golf course than it was before. I thought that it was one that I thought was a little bit more modern than it was before. Now we're going to modernize it again a little bit. So courses evolve, times change, golfers change. The golf ball has changed almost 50 yards since we did this golf course. It goes 50 yards further. That's a lot. And something we're doing right now is really kind of funny. I've been on my soapbox about the golf ball for a long time. And I first went to the USGA in 1977 and told them I thought they were going to have a problem because of what was happening. And they really didn't pay a whole lot of attention. About 95, they started paying attention when golf balls start going 20, 30, 40 yards further, still within the same rules that they had before. So I was having dinner with Mike Davis, who executive director of the USGA, a couple of weeks ago. We played golf, and we started talking about what in the world are we going to do. And I've had this philosophy for quite a while that a golf course shouldn't be designed around a golf ball, but that a golf ball should be designed around a golf course. Meaning that if you had a golf course that's 61 or 200 yards, so you might have a golf ball that's an 80% golf ball, which is about what the old golf ball was in today's standard. And you just play with an 80% golf ball. And if the average golfer wants to play it with a 100% ball or a 90% ball, go play it. But if you're going to have an event or something and you want your golf course to be fairly difficult or play tough, you play it with that 80% ball. If you want to be even tougher, play with a 70% ball. But I mean, you design around that. So if somebody has 50 acres and wants a golf course, you do a golf course on it and then design a golf ball that fits it, or whatever it might be. Anyway, so the USJ, I had a group come to me right after I had dinner with Mike Davis. We were talking about it, and they came to me and they had this 2 public golf courses in this one city that they wanted to redo, and they didn't have very much land, but they really valued their golf course and their property. I said, well, why don't we think about this 80 or 90% golf ball? And it's very simple to do. And people say, well, how are you going to get used to it? Well, I used to go back from the big ball to the small ball, when we played overseas, and that was almost like going from an 80% ball to a 100% ball. We switched back. How long did it take us to get used to it? About a day. It was really difficult. And so I don't think it's a big deal. And probably most people who are going to play all their golf, let's just say on this golf course, and you want a 90% ball or a 180% ball, you know, you could do that. You just get used to playing it. But to me, it makes more sense. We're trying to grow the game of golf, not restrict it. And so if you restrict how by taking a golf ball, with the pros would end up being probably, most golf courses would probably end up playing about an 80% ball. He thinks that's the way we can get to the pros doing it without hurting the average golfer. So that's sort of what we're talking about. We're not talking about doing that here at Gorce, but that's sort of I think where we're coming to.
Jack, over here. First regards from Gene Stearns. He just called to say hello. The greens, just talk a little bit about, are they going to be made more undulating? What in terms of
a
the
little bit,
improvement?
but not much. I mean, they'll be back about where they were 20 years ago. They've just gone flat. Yeah, you had more movement in them 20 years ago, and they've just, over the last 10 years, you've just lost everything that was in there. So they'll have a little bit more, but they're certainly not going to be excessive. I'm not going to do that to you.
Could you just talk for a moment about what we'll expect to see when we get back in November, and how long it will really take for the course to be what you envision it to be in terms of healing?
It'll be there in November. Your golf course will be just fine in November when you come back. I would assume, David, what are we grassing out? By what, end of July? Yeah, if you're end of July, you've got August, September, October to grow back in. 3 months is plenty of time. The one thing you will have next year are firm greens, because you won't have a thatch bed in the greens. So the first year of greens, they'll be firm, and the ball won't hold as well as they will the second year. But that's on every new golf course is exactly the same. And I think I finally convinced the group today to use. You're going to use Celebration in the fairways, and I think we're going to probably use Mini Verde on the greens. And and the whole thing of Mini Verde, the bad name that it got was because some of the nurseries were contaminated that we got the grass from. And we at the Bears Club, we started 4 years ago with clean grass, and we redid them again last summer, the ones that we didn't do 4 years ago, and we have had no contamination whatsoever. So to me, it's the most superior grass that is out there today, and I think that's what you should use if you can. But I think Jim has decided that, he says if I can get clean grass, that's what I'd rather use too, superintendent.
And the traps, will mean firm? What kind of expectations do we expect in the traps?
I don't know what you've selected for sand yet. Anybody know? Jim? See you here, back here? No. Okay. Barry? I'm sorry? What? I don't know what Doral has. You talk pro angle, or are you talking about G angle, or what are you using? Huh? Yeah, neither one of them are worth 10 cents. I don't think so. Well, it costs money, but it's the best sand. And we had, just tell you history. When we did the Bears Club, we did what's called Pro Angle. Now, Pro Angle is a manufactured sand that's very angular and compacts very well, and you can really do a lot of things with a bunker shot out of it. It's my favorite, but it costs probably 120, 140 bucks a ton because of transportation. You can get your G angle, which is a Florida sand, which isn't quite as angular, not bad, but not quite as good, and you get that for what, 25 or 30, up there. And so there's a big number between the two of them, depending on how many tons of sand you buy. But what we did, we started because of the cost of it, we started adding in the G angle at the Bears Club, and I don't like it. So what we did to supplement it is we did because just pure cost. We got the G angle and we supplemented it with a Mason sand, a very fine angular mason sand. And that allowed it to compact a little bit, and it plays a lot better. So it's how you make up how you want to do it to what you do. I mean, I think you'd like to get in your bunkers and be able to play a bunker shot where you might want to spin it if you can, or you don't want to play in a half buried lie every time. And I don't blame you. But with good bunker sand comes cost. So that's got to be yours to figure out. Okay.
Hi, Jack. When I remember the old bunkers used to be done, they used to put a liner in the bottom of it with staples, and a year or 2 or 3 later they'd pop up. Is that still the way they build the bunkers today?
I don't know what we put in the bottom here, David. Capillary concrete. Or bunker solutions. There's several of them. There will be a liner of some kind. And I don't really know which. It's a selection of costs and which one you prefer, because they're all pretty good. Yeah, I think bunker solutions, better Billy, and the capillary concrete are all different ones. Capillary concrete, that's the one that. Yeah, that's the one that. Annika, I couldn't even think of Annika's name. That's how old I'm getting. But Annika was one she's represented, a little bit of that. Yeah.
Yeah, hi. Given the new 9th hole, was any thought given to switching the 9s? Making that the back?
I don't think so. I think the new 9th hole will not be a particularly difficult hole. It was done more for right here than out there. You wanted to have something to look at. You wanted to have something that was pretty. That's what I came up with. I think it will be pretty. I think we can put a few plants around it, get a little something growing in the water. I think you're going to enjoy being here. It's going to be a nice thing. The 18th hole is a strong hole. 17 and 18 are really good holes. You don't need to screw up your golf course by switching around your routing.
Jack, will the 9th tee be pointed in the right direction?
Pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, it was always, for me, at least for me, it was always pointed to the trees over on the.
I thought that you aimed the ball, not the
probably
tee.
did. It was hard for me to angle it the right way.
David, make sure the 9th green is aimed for him.
Thank you. It was the only tee
Huh?
that seemed to be pointed away from the fairway.
Huh? The tee. Well, make sure you go out there and make sure it's opened up for you. I'm being facetious, obviously. Where did that come from? Oh, there it is. Okay. If a tee is aimed out that way, just make sure it's a little more free form so it doesn't aim someplace.
Maybe this is a
Tees,
question.
I don't ever pay attention to where tees aim.
Sorry, excuse me.
Sorry.
Maybe this is a question for Barry and the board. Now that we've added some water, I noticed that we already have an infiltration of our favorite species swimming around. Is there anything budgeted for dogs? I play a lot of golf in the Northeast, and I know that we've got collies and all kind of things to keep the geese and ducks away. Is anybody talking about that from the board?
I don't know. I like dogs. I don't like them on a golf course. I agree with you there. But I don't know. I don't know what you're doing with that.
Some of us have played Riviera recently, and they have a cart path only, which has been going on for several months. Once the golf course is done in October, November, will we be able to drive on it, or will it be cart path only for some period of time?
That'll depend on your greens committee and your greens superintendent. I wouldn't think there'd be any. Celebration's very tough, and I wouldn't worry about it. We have it at the Bears Club. We run everywhere we want to run, and sometimes the greens, which we shouldn't run. But nobody bothers with it. I don't think you need to worry about it. I mean, it's not like if you got a low area, then you have an issue with anything. But you just try to avoid having low areas. Hopefully, we've done that. And I think you had some issues here with tidal waters and full moon tides and things like that. I think you're trying to work that from off the edge of the course, are you not, Barry? hopefully hopefully you've solved that issue. Yeah, but I mean, you're working out with the engineers to get that done, right? Yeah, but that's not, I can't control that. That's a club deal. Yep.
We do have a lot of people that enjoy practicing out here, and I know the practice area looks nothing like what you designed originally, and we've done a number of changes over the years, none of them very good in my mind. What do you have planned for there? Anything special?
I think we've expanded the range a little bit, haven't we, David? Yeah, expanded the pitching area, and you modernize some greens, target greens and things. Yeah, so we're trying to do what we do at every place else as far as trying to modernize it into more of a target-oriented practice range. We've expanded it a little bit to be able to have a little bit more area to hit to, and as David talked, the chipping green has been expanded. So you're limited in space, no question about that, but we try to do the best we can with what we got. And we could buy a couple of houses back here and, you know, knock them down, move it back, it'd be all right, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Any other
Yes.
questions for Mr. Nicklaus?
Now, first, just let me just say, I don't, we can talk here all day, but basically, you've got a really nice golf course. You've got a nice club. You've always had a nice club. It's one that's always been fun to play. As you see, you've got a lot of good players. You've got a lot of players who aren't so good. You've got some medium type. You know, you got a little bit of variety of everything. And our job and our goal is to try to pacify and please as many people as we possibly can, to try to do a golf course that's still has some teeth in it, but also is as user-friendly as we can make it with as many places to bail out and hit the ball where the better player wouldn't hit it or the average golfer needs to hit it. So that's our goal. Will we do it perfect? Probably not. Will we do it the best of our ability at the first time around? Probably so. I mean, 2 weeks ago, I played golf with a friend of mine who every once in a while, Mike Pascucci, I don't know, you know Mike, some of you might know Mike, did Sabonic. And of course I did Sabonic, and Sabonic is a golf course I did with Tom Doak, and Doak had original control of the greens, so that was didn't turn out to be the way I wanted it, and I've been after him to change those greens forever. And we've been working at it. It looks like the USGA is talking about having a US Open there, so he'll need to change it. Well, anyway, Mike and I were playing got to the 16th hole at the Bears Club, and he says, Jack, he says, this bunker is impossible. And I said, Mike, that's a tough shot. He says, well, you know, it's really difficult. You need to change it. I says, okay. So we were going a week, and I've changed it. Now, so I dropped him a note, sent him a picture of what we changed, and I said, I hope we aren't this long in changing Sabonic. And, but anyway, the point of it is that that bunker to the left of 16 was probably a little too difficult. It's very pretty, it's set in there nicely, but resulted in a shot that was, over time, became more difficult than we probably have. I could play it, pretty good players could play it, but the average golfer had a horrible time with it. So we'll try not to do those. We'll try to find as many of these little glitches during construction as we can, and that's the reason I come down and I'll go through it, and I'll be part of what we're doing, trying to make sure that you end up with the best, most usable golf course from all sides that we can possibly give you. As I say, if we make a few little mistakes, we'll correct them. We'll fix them again, and they won't be hard to fix because they won't be far out. But a golf course is an evolution. It's something that just continues to change a little bit. Sometimes it doesn't change on purpose. Sometimes it changes from that. If you're in a bunker and you keep hitting sand out of that bunker, pretty soon you got a pretty good slope that works away from that bunker. And so then you got to come back in and take that sand out and put the bunker back down to where it should be so people can play it. So that's what we try to do, and that's what we're working on doing. And as I say, our goal is to get something that you all like and you all have fun with and enjoy for a long time. So thank you for getting me involved. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to do this. And we've got just about an hour and a half to get home for the Heat game. So we're on our way. I think you probably want to watch it too.
Thank you very much, Jack. Thank you all again for coming out today. Jack has been unbelievably present and invested in our project. I can assure you that. It's been way more than I would have even anticipated, and I want to thank you very much for that. I know you genuinely are invested in this and care. As far as his explaining the golf course, I shouldn't do this. It's probably counterintuitive to expectations, but I think he's managing our expectations. When you go out there, it's pretty spectacular. It looks really, really, really fantastic. So on behalf of the membership, I'd like to thank Jack Nicklaus for coming out here and helping us and paying attention to us and treating us the way he's treating us. So thank you all.
Okay.